What if I told you that right now, in October, millions of people are throwing away the richest soil maker on Earth? I'm talking about bags and bags of fall leaves, leftover pumpkins, and piles of garden waste. Most people don't even think twice. They drag it all to the curb, wave goodbye, and feel good that it's out of the way. But here's the shocking truth. Every single bag of leaves you see on the street is basically a bag of black gold. If you knew what really happens when you compost in October, you'd never let a leaf leave your yard again. Because here's the secret, October isn't just a month for composting. It's the best month. This is nature's composting season. But there's a catch. Most beginners miss one small but crucial step, and it ruins their entire compost pile. I'll tell you what it is, but not yet. First, let's figure out why October is so powerful for composting and why you should be doing it right now instead of waiting for spring. Think about what's happening all around you this month. The trees are shedding billions of leaves. Gardens are finishing their growing season. Pumpkins are sitting on porches and grocery store bins. It's like nature is saying here, take all of this and recycle it back into the soil. And yet, instead of using this free resource, most people pay for bagged soil in the spring. That's like throwing away free groceries and then going to the store to buy the same thing. Crazy, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Composting isn't just about tossing scraps into a pile. It's about balance. And there's a golden ratio, a secret formula that makes composting work perfectly. Without it, you're just creating a soggy mess or a pile that never breaks down. I'll reveal that ratio soon, but before we get there, let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to think what your trash can is actually stealing from your garden? Because every time you toss those fall leaves into a bag, you're throwing away your spring fertilizer. And once you realize that, you'll never look at waste the same way again. So, let's answer the big question. What exactly should you be adding to your compost pile in October? Fall is like a recipe book full of free ingredients, and if you combine them the right way, you'll get compost so rich, it'll smell like the forest floor by spring. First on the list, leaves. Fall leaves are the backbone of October composting. They're what compost experts call browns, meaning they're carbon-rich. They create air pockets, soak up moisture, and balance out the wetter, smellier greens. But here's the sis, did you know? Not all leaves are good for compost. Some actually slow the whole process down. I'll tell you which ones in a moment. Next up, pumpkins. After Halloween, millions of pumpkins get tossed. For gardeners, that's like gold being wasted. Pumpkins are full of moisture and nutrients, and they break down quickly. Smash them into smaller pieces, toss them in, and you've got instant fuel for your compost. Then there's your fall garden cleanup. Old tomato vines, corn stalks, bean plants, all of these are organic matter your pile can use. But here's the catch. Not every plant should go in. If a plant was diseased, adding it to your compost pile can create a disaster later. And of course, don't forget your kitchen scraps. Even in October, those apple cores, banana peels, and coffee grounds are perfect greens. But again, there's that golden balance. Too many greens? You get a stinky, slimy mess. Too many browns? Your pile just sits there. So, what's the magic ratio? I'll reveal it soon. But first, let's hit a quick reset with a reality check. Here's something most people don't know. If you compost the wrong way in October, you could actually invite pests into your yard. I'm talking about raccoons, rats, or just endless flies. Imagine thinking you're helping your garden, but instead you've built a pest buffet. Pretty shocking, right? That's why we need to talk about what not to compost in October. Because believe it or not, the do not add list is just as important as the must add list. And ignoring it is the #1 way people ruin their piles. So, let's go over the danger zone items that should never end up in your October compost. First, meat, dairy, and oily foods. Yes, they rot. Yes, they break down. But they don't belong in a backyard compost pile. They attract pests, they stink up the pile, and they take forever to decompose. Second, diseased plants. Remember when I hinted at this earlier? If your tomatoes had blight, if your cucumbers had mildew, don't add them. Those diseases can survive in the compost and come back stronger in the spring. Third, certain leaves. This is the payoff I promised earlier. Some leaves like walnut, eucalyptus, and even thick oak leaves are tricky. They contain natural compounds that slow down decomposition. If you must use them, shred them into tiny pieces and mix them well. Otherwise, avoid piling them up. Fourth, peat waste. Dog or cat waste is a big no. It carries harmful bacteria and parasites that you do not want anywhere near your soil. Now imagine this pattern interrupt. You spend months carefully composting, spreading it in your garden, planting your vegetables, and instead of a healthy harvest, you've just spread disease or toxins. Not exactly the rich compost dream, right? That's why avoiding the wrong ingredients is just as important as adding the right ones. But remember, we still haven't answered the most important question yet. What's the golden rule that makes composting truly work? Here's the cliffhanger. There's one number, one simple ratio that separates compost piles that actually work from piles that just sit there. Beginners almost always get it wrong. They think composting is just tossing scraps together and waiting. Then months later, nothing has happened. The pile is cold, soggy, and disappointing. But once you know this one ratio, everything changes. Your compost heats up, breaks down, and by spring you've got soil so dark and crumbly, you'll want to run your hands through it. The magic formula is 3-to-1. 3 parts browns for every 1 part green. That's it. Simple, right? But powerful. Think of it this way. For every 3 buckets of leaves, you add 1 bucket of food scraps or fresh greens. That balance is what keeps your compost pile cooking. Too much green and you've got a smelly mess. Too much brown and your pile just sits there like a dead log. 3-to-1 keeps everything alive and active. And if you're starting your compost in October, you're already ahead because you've got leaves everywhere. Just shred them up so they don't mat together, add your greens, and you're good to go. Another pro tip, chop up your kitchen scraps. The smaller the pieces, the faster they break down. And don't forget to turn the pile. Oxygen is like fuel for the microbes inside. Flip it once a week and watch it steam in the cool fall air. Moisture is another key. Your compost should feel like a wrung-out sponge. Too dry, add water. Too wet, add more leaves. And here's the final beginner mistake, giving up too soon. Composting takes time. It's not instant. But if you start now, in October, by spring you'll have beautiful compost ready to feed your garden. So, let's wrap it all together. Composting in October is the secret weapon for gardeners who want rich, healthy soil. Add your leaves, pumpkins, and garden scraps. Avoid meat, dairy, diseased plants, and pet waste. Remember the 3-to-1 ratio? Shred, chop, turn, and check the moisture. If you do that, nature does the rest. This isn't just recycling. This is transforming waste into life. And the best part, it costs you nothing. Here's my challenge to you this October. Don't bag those leaves. Don't toss out that pumpkin. Instead, start a compost pile, even if it's just a small corner in your backyard. Even if it's just a bin on your patio. By spring, you'll see the payoff, and you'll never go back. If this video inspired you, give it a like, share it with a friend who gardens, and tell me in the comments what's the first thing you're adding to your compost this fall. And don't forget to subscribe for more composting tips, because this is just the beginning.